This isn't conspiracy theory, it's their own words. And the person pushing it? None other than Nita Farahani, an Obama advisor.
Having seen that person commit the crime, even though that person's utterly innocent, that it becomes a planted memory. And so there's some really interesting research that we can plant false memories in the brain. And in a different context, one of the emerging areas that's really interesting in law neuroscience is pain detection. And once we understand the circuitries that cause pain, I guess the question is, could we then instill pain and use that in many coercive measures in the legal system as well? So.
Wow, that's amazing.
Drastic measures are now on the table because the elites know that if the full truth comes out, the entire system could be torn apart by a furious, betrayed public. The reality is, we've been lied to over and over again. And what's been hidden from us isn't just dark, it's almost beyond comprehension. The truth isn't just inconvenient, it's stranger, uglier, and more explosive than most people are prepared to face. Barack Obama was the president who famously flew in $65,000 worth of hot dogs from Chicago. A detail buried in the logs, but never forgotten by those who know the code. The FBI knew exactly what was going on. Hot dogs wasn't about food, it was code, widely recognized in law enforcement circles for young boys.
Those emails are bananas.
They're not explained.
They're talking about young kids who are going to be coming to a party to have fun. They're talking about
They'll be in the
pizza
pool, and they will
hot
be there
dogs.
for sure. $65,000 worth of hot dogs flown from Chicago for a White House party?
The whole thing is like very weird.
Did you ever see the archived Instagram post from James Alefantis' Instagram?
No.
Because that's a dark place. So there's so many layers to Pizzagate that they tried to cover up intentionally for very good reason.
Barack Obama has been hiding in plain sight, rubbing shoulders with Epstein, partying with Diddy, blackmailed to the eyeballs, yet shielded at every turn by the establishment and a complicit media. The protection isn't accidental, it's strategic. Because if he falls, the whole house of cards comes down with him. But here's the hard truth. Nothing will change. The cover-ups will continue, the victims will be ignored, and the miscarriages of justice will pile up unless we find the courage to speak out and demand accountability. As former record industry CEO Suge Knight puts it, the silence is what allows the sickness to thrive.
You think Obama had anything to do with any of these parties that he had?
Absolutely.
Wow.
You got presidents, you got preachers. T.D. Jakes is one of the biggest black preachers around that everybody loves. Everybody in prison, if they try to get the word of religion, they're not going to the chapel somewhere. They're turning to watch T.D. Jakes. He had to resign from his whole community.
That's right.
You talking about the top of the top.
As Suge explains, Obama had a weird fetish, and he didn't just scratch that itch at Diddy parties. He also went to Epstein's Island, like the rest of the globalist elite.
But the thing is, he had from Oprah Winfrey to everybody on that island. You know, anybody with a weird fetish, and that's what underage kids was on that island, and everybody knew it. So it's not like it's a situation where all of a sudden maybe there's been a talk, and you know as well as I know. Like you being on the same tier as him, he probably was going to tell it all. He up himself, you know?
No doubt. No doubt in my mind at all.
They made sure he didn't.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no way he could have done it. You know, first of all, they're watching all the time. There's cameras, and just so happens that one particular time there's no cameras and no one monitoring that. I had eyes on me 24/7 when I was there. So, I mean, I knew it was impossible.
Always.
Yeah.
You didn't have that one time to yourself.
Nothing
You're
at all.
always watching yourself.
So
always. No way.
We were the first to break the story. Jeffrey Epstein didn't die in that cell. He was extracted and relocated to Israel. At the time, it sounded unthinkable. But now, others are finding the courage to speak up about what's known behind the scenes.
Fascinating, and we're not done with Jeffrey Epstein. I can tell you that for a fact. Can't tell you how I know, but I can tell you for a fact we're going to hear a lot more about Jeffrey Epstein in the coming year, and you may be even hearing from him directly.
The evidence that Jeffrey Epstein was working with Mossad is no longer speculation. It's undeniable. FBI documents from 2008 confirm he acted as an informant, raising serious questions about who was protecting him and why. No other convicted paedophile in history has been treated with such kid gloves, permitted international travel, cushioned by secret deals, and shielded from real consequences. As Megyn Kelly pointed out in her conversation with Charlie Kirk, Epstein wasn't just another criminal, he was an asset. And assets don't get burnt, they get moved.
Do you think there's any intel community involvement in this?
I wouldn't be surprised one bit. I am convinced, based on my own sources and my own reporting on this story, he wasn't one of ours.
So he was an American, which leads basically three options: MI6, Saudi, or Mossad.
Yep.
Which one would you choose?
I guess Mossad, given his connection to Ghislaine Maxwell.
So what does that mean?
Well, I mean, it's possible that that's the reason everything's getting buried, that there is some treasure trove, and it's getting buried because...
How many people here believe that? Raise your hand. Okay, I'd say about half the hands think that it's being buried because of an Israeli thing.
It could be. I really don't know.
And I have no evidence to suggest that.
No, me neither. I did think it was very odd how, look, half of you raised your hands because you've heard that theory, you've heard it debated, you have questions, but the one time Pam Bondi was asked a question about this at the cabinet meeting on Monday, she was like, and as for whether he was an agent, that I don't know. I haven't looked into that. I'll get back to you. You haven't looked into it? What do you mean? So that was kind of a fishy answer.
And Megyn, remember Alexander Acosta in 2007, he said he was told to treat Epstein carefully because he was an intel asset. That was one of Trump's cabinet secretaries who was literally a U.S. attorney 3 hours from here in Florida. He said that himself.
Well, and let me tell you the consequences of that. His subpoena, his search warrant on Jeffrey Epstein's residence was very narrow. It was not the kind of like, let's get everything. Let's see everything inside this guy's, dressers and so on. It was very, very narrowly tailored. And to this day, that's what the FBI is stuck with.
But the people have woken up, and we're not staying silent anymore. This isn't just corruption. These are real people committing real crimes, protected by layers of power and deceit. And never forget, there are real victims, thousands of them. Even Pam Bondi admitted that number, and that's only the ones we know about.
I have spent the last 17 years in my own prison for what she, Jeffrey, and all the co-conspirators did to me. I was raped repeatedly. I was raped 3 times a day sometimes. And I was not the only girl on that island. There was a constant stream of girls being raped over and over and over again. And yes, Ghislaine must die in prison because I've been in hell and back for the last 17 years.
And 27 for me.
I was 10 years old.
It's time to put politics aside. This isn't about left or right, red or blue. This is about right or wrong. This is about holding the VIP elite accountable for crimes that have gone unpunished for far too long. And if governments and institutions collapse under the weight of the truth, then so be it. Because any system that survives by protecting evil doesn't deserve to stand.
The MAGA base, I think, really doesn't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat. If you're on that list and you were raping children, you need to be in prison at minimum, if not executed. This is the mindset of MAGA. I don't care if you're a Republican or Democrat.
Here at The People's Voice, we're determined to continue exposing the crimes of the global elite, but we need your help. Subscribe to the channel, tell your friends and family about us, and join the People's Voice Locals community for exclusive and uncensored content. We can't do it without you. Government agencies, NSA, CIA, Mossad, you name it, are tapping your every move online, feeding their globalist surveillance machine. Your VPN isn't saving you, your VPN is spying on you. They flash no logs like it's a promise. But what they're really saying is, trust us. Trust foreign outfits in Israel, Panama, Romania, Switzerland? Trust them not to sell your data when the globalists tighten their grip? We know their plans. They told us. They're building a digital prison planet, digital IDs, 50-minute cities, total internet control. The globalist takeover needs one thing. Every click, every search, every move you make online in their hands. You think you're safe? Mossad has just been busted spying on White House officials. Nobody's safe. I don't know about you, but it boils my blood knowing they're chaining the internet to their globalist agenda. That's why I've partnered with VP.net, the world's first verified privacy network. They don't promise trust, they prove it. Cryptographic proof in real time that they can't see your traffic. They can't see it, and neither can some tyrannical government, not even if they came with court orders and threats. Your data is locked in Intel SGX secure enclaves. Cryptographic vaults so secure, even the owners of VP.net are shut out. This isn't privacy by some flimsy policy, it's privacy by design, built to break their control. Once you see VP.net, you can't go back. Still using legacy VPNs in 2025? That's like wiring your brain straight into the surveillance matrix. Strike back against the digital overlords by visiting vp.net/TPV. It's privacy by design because the internet's their battlefield and vp.net is your shield.